Hello and welcome back to another Daily Defiant. I'm Alex. Today we're bringing you the latest developments in the FTX criminal investigations. The story got even messier last night after FTX co-founder Gary Wang and Alameda CEO Ellison both pleaded guilty to federal charges. It appears they'll cooperate in the criminal case against Sam Bankman-Fried. So why the betrayal? A big thank you to AlgoFi for sponsoring this video, more on them later. So let's dive into what happened. How is it that Ellison and Gary Wang went from sharing a Bahamas penthouse with SBF, where they allegedly lived in a polycule, to turning on the man who created their fraudulent empire? It became official last night when the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Damian Williams, said in a statement that charges were filed against both Carolyn and Gary for their involvement in the FTX fraud. Both have pleaded guilty and agreed to cooperate. Williams also reminded us of the charges brought against Sam Bankman-Fried for his sweeping fraud scheme that contributed to FTX's collapse, and the campaign finance scheme that sought to influence policy in Washington. Bankman-Fried is now in federal custody in New York, and by the time this video airs, he may have already been brought before a judge for arraignment. In an attempt to entice cooperation from anyone else involved, Damian Williams said, "If you participated in misconduct at FTX or Alameda, now is the time to get ahead of it. We are moving quickly and our patience is not eternal." Williams added that further statements will follow, and we'll bring you all the most important developments as they become available, so click the subscribe button below to stay informed about all things crypto, DeFi, Web3, and NFTs. And before we give you some key takeaways and why it might be too late for Sam, a quick word from our sponsor, AlgoFi. AlgoFi is the de facto DeFi hub in Algorand. It offers fast, affordable, and transparent alternative to black box exchanges and lenders amid the CeFi wreckage. AlgoFi's AMM, stable swap, lending market, and community governance make it a one-stop shop for high-performance DeFi. Its move to launch fully programmatic on-chain DAO governance will make AlgoFi the first protocol in Algorand to reach true decentralization. Trade and contribute to the future of open finance today at algofi.org. Back to our story. The SEC and CFTC complaints against Ellison and Gary Wang give us the first real glimpse of the betrayal, as well as an insider account of the alleged FTX fraud. Here are the key takeaways. Firstly, Alameda was not independent. SBF and Wang owned 90% and 10% of Alameda respectively. And despite having claimed ignorance over what happened at Alameda, it appears Sam was, after all, the ultimate decision maker at Alameda, according to regulators, directing investment and operational decisions and having full access to Alameda records and databases. Second, he and Wang built the so-called backdoor, which allowed FTX user deposits to be directly wired to Alameda's accounts. This is misappropriation and amounts to wire fraud, according to the regulators. You'll recall interim CEO John Ray's testimony that FTX was a case of old-fashioned embezzlement. All in all, the case regulators have made is this: everything SBF said during his post-bankruptcy apology tour was a lie. He and Wang built the backdoor to steal user money. He instructed his ex-girlfriends to run Alameda as his own personal fund, borrowed against illiquid assets, and used the money to invest in real estate and venture capital while making huge political donations. Before closing, let's remind ourselves of what SBF was charged with, and why he spent time in a decrepit Bahamian jail awaiting extradition. The U.S. Attorney's 13-page indictment says that, beginning in 2019, Bankman-Fried devised a brazen multi-year scheme to defraud FTX's customers and investors. The charges included wire fraud conspiracy, securities fraud conspiracy, and money laundering. On top of these, we have the inquiry SBF is facing concerning his alleged manipulation of the price of Terra USD and Luna, the tokens whose crash earlier this year caused our crypto winter. All in all, this could result in a very, very long jail sentence for SBF. So, all things considered, Ellison and Gary Wang will likely be aiming to reduce their respective sentences by cooperating, hoping to avoid a similar fate to SBF.